Good morning. I wanted to walk you around the garden yesterday, Saturday, but we had storms all day and it rained all night, so I couldn't do that. You'll notice this morning there is debris around the yard and the flowers all look a little sad because of all the rain, but you can still see that they're blooming. So I'm starting here in the front yard. That is my hydrangea. It's doing really well. It's gotten many more blooms this year than it has in any previous year. That's the one I told you started out as like a stick from the garden center. I bought it on clearance, which by the way, I missed that clearance this year. Alas, what can you do? And my little Hosta is doing great. I'm glad I had this over it because either deer or bunnies, I'm not entirely sure, devoured two of my hostas, only two on the other side of the garden. You'll see that in a minute. And I have tried pepper flakes. That didn't seem to deter them. So one of them I'm just gonna have to cover up because I think it's gonna die otherwise. But look at, we've got red lilies here blooming this week. I think that's gorgeous. I'm gonna take a picture for my thumbnail. Okay, and then you can see here are the hostas that got devoured. Just these ones right on the edge, so I bet it's a deer coming up, and they just kind of graze with their little heads, and then they move on to the next thing. They don't need to work hard for the rest of it because, you know, if these are the ones that they really like to eat, easy access, and then they move on to the next garden where there's something else they like to eat. But the bunnies, when they eat stuff, they're usually more hidden. They really like to snack on stuff back here. Like they've done this, you know, the bunnies just like are more like little nibblers. That's why I think it's deer. The bunnies have devoured my columbine back there, but it's done blooming for the season. So I'm like, go ahead, snack on it, whatever. This is my hosta that I just put in, and it did not do great in the heat wave. I think it's going to be fine in this spot. I told you, because it's a yellow hosta, it's called Shadowland Coast to Coast. It's a gold hosta, and usually they can take sun, but because it's new, freshly rooted, you know, it doesn't have a strong root system yet. I think that's why it took such a hard hit in the heat. But the new leaves, you know, which would be resulting from the new growth, are doing fine. So, but they are more covered. We'll see if it you know, next year, if I keep getting this burn on the leaves, I'll move it out of the sun or to a little bit of a shadier spot. We'll see. You know, gardening is a long-term process. So this is a new pot. My friend Amy from White Lab House, just have a bag of dirt in it to weigh it down. It is cracked. She got it off of Facebook Marketplace, and it was repaired, I think, at the time. But I don't care about the crack because you won't see that from the road, and it matches all of my other pots. Sorry for our mess. I just got Dunkin' Donuts on the table there. And I still haven't planted the rest of my annuals, and now they're just dying. It's really bad. I'm a terrible gardener. It got too hot, and we got busy with other projects inside the house while it was hot. My blue hydrangea is doing great. That's the endless summer hydrangea. I am considering moving it to the back though. I just think it gets too much sun right here. This patch of the front yard, even though the other side gets more shade, this side gets a lot of sun in the afternoon. So I may move that to a little bit of a shadier spot in the backyard. It doesn't need total shade, but it's getting too hot, I think. And then I did move lilies, and I made an error. I moved a red one in these. This is yellow, this is yellow, this is yellow, that's red. And I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving it. Let it do its thing. Be the one pretty red one here. That's fine. I'm not going to take the time to move it. Not right now. I am planning eventually to get a tree for like a landscaping tree. Like a one that doesn't spread much, you know. You've seen them. They usually twist or something. But they're kind of expensive. They're like over $100. And right now we're putting flooring up in my daughter's room because she has bad allergies. So we decided to just wait on the landscaping tree till next year. And then my pots were looking much better before all the rain. All the petunias are droopy now, but what can you do? So everything's just really wet, including the deck. But, so you can't really appreciate, they are doing very, very well, all my pots, but you can't really appreciate it right now. Oh, I should show you the door. Hold on. We painted the house, you knew that, but we also painted the front door. I love it. We want to get a different front door with more windows so that light will come through it, because the landing is very dark in there. But until such time as we are able to do that, I'm really pleased with how it looks. We live in the house with the blue door now, which I think is adorable. And again, this all bloomed beautifully, this geranium. This looks great when it's not freshly rained on. Here's the back garden. We have determined that this, we think, is some form of buckthorn, which is an invasive species here in Minnesota. So we're getting rid of this bush. For now, I'm just going to cut the branches back. They will keep coming back. I mean, I cut it down once already. You can see how it just takes over. It's almost like a weed tree. But these buckthorn bushes were planted in the 80s and 90s as landscaping bushes, and then they realized that they're really bad for the environment. They just take over forests here. So we think that that's what it is. It has like white dots on the trunk, and there are different kinds of buckthorn, and I think that this is one of them. You can kind of see the white lines on the trunk down there. So we're going to cut it back again for now, and then at the end of the season there's stuff that you put in the trunk to kill it off, which I don't like to use chemicals, but I think having the buckthorn is actually worse for the environment. So my evening primrose is done. This is leaning because the soil gets soft when it rains that much, but look, these are I think these are cone flowers. Pretty sure that's what those are, and they're gonna bloom this week, hopefully. Nothing else has really changed. Just these pincushion flowers, I think one of you told me they are, is going crazy. The asters have not bloomed yet. They're more of like an August thing. Plus they're a little behind because the deer had devoured them so badly. Here is my deck herb garden. My mint is going crazy. I forgot to cut the dill. I don't really use the dill, so it went to bloom. So I need to cut that back. But we've been using the mint and the parsley, and it's doing really well. There's a butterfly. Oh, it flew away. You see it? So the veggie garden, oh wow, the wind, oh darn. Oh, the wind was so bad last night, it broke my zucchini off the plant. Bummer. Doesn't look like the plant itself is broken. Hold on a second, we'll go inside. Okay, this zucchini, I will not do zucchini in a pot again. This was an experiment, not my best experiment. It has continued to give me problems, including now we see the wind is an issue. Everything on this side of the plant has pretty much rotted off. This was attached. I think we can eat it. This part isn't. It's still a baby, but we can at least eat it. It doesn't have to go to waste. Yeah, I don't know what the issue is. I keep getting blossom and rot on some of my zucchinis, and then the leaves are rotting. But this side of the plant, this end of the vine or whatever it is fine. So I don't know the issue. I'm not sure. I let this go to seed. I was going to cut it back and eat it, but you can see it's going to bloom. And then it'll spread. It should spread some seed, and then I'll have more volunteers next year. I need to move this tomato because when I put it there, I wasn't thinking about the zucchini getting that bad, and so now it's not getting enough sun. But my zinnias are doing fantastically well. I like to put those in here because they look pretty from the street side. So there's the street, and you can kind of see in here, and it's nice to have flowers along the fence. And then, I bought these, what were supposed to be bush variety cucumbers, but you can see they are in fact vining. So I gave them this little trellis, and then I'm hoping if they need more room, I'll just train them up the fence. And Yeah, not much happening in the veggie garden yet here. It takes a long time in Minnesota. We have a very short growing season. This is my squash, and I'm hoping that'll just kind of spread this way and that way. And the strawberries are sending off their shoots, so that'll be good for next year. And that's about it in the veggie garden. The rhubarb, you saw me harvest that, so it's coming back nicely. And then I wanted to show you, first, this is a thistle I need to pull, but I need my gloves to do it, and I never have my gloves back here. But this is a volunteer. I think it's, well, it's definitely some kind of squash or cucumber. I think it might be a pumpkin. Maybe a pumpkin rotted back here. I don't really know. I have no idea. But that's for sure. It's 2 plants. So if you can see, and they've grown up through the rocks. Maybe it's 1 plant. I don't know. But I'm just going to let it go, and we'll see what develops on it. I got to tell my hubby not to pull it out. And then one last thing I wanted to show you. Well, first of all, these are the very sickly tomato plants that I pulled out of the garden and put into pots over here. And actually, they've come back. So whatever they were sick with seems to have resolved. I mean, this one was almost completely gone. You can see the stalk where it came off, but now it's come back. So I just stuck this in here so it has some, they have some support. But I wanted to show you. So these are my Hosta Transplants. And you know, whenever you transplant something, they go into shock and the leaves that were there die back. But you're looking for signs of life that they've taken, and we now have new leaves coming up. So this one is a success. And then we have signs of life over here. And look here, I don't know why, but it's shooting up leaves here, but that's fine. This one, I don't see any new shoots yet. Not yet. Oh, but this one has it, see? Let's see, oopsie, oh darn, there we go. That's gonna be a new leaf right there. And this one has some too. So, these transplants, I would say, are a success. They will look much better next year. And the ones over here, so those were ones that I really split off of a bigger one on that side. These were like bigger groups that I planted that the lady dug up like this. So that's why I think these are doing better. They weren't split as much. So you can see these have definitely taken. Again, this one's sending up shoots in another place, but that's fine. This one has some leaves coming up right in the center. Nothing new here, and nothing new here, but these are doing well. These never really went into as much shock. Okay, and that's the garden this week. I hope you've enjoyed seeing it, and until my next video, thanks for watching. Have a great day.